Hello again, everybody. This is Dan Clouser, and welcome back to the Journey of My Mother's Son podcast. Again, still out here at the Ripken Experience in Aberdeen, Maryland, as we're winding down the Baseball for All Nationals tournament. And the third representative that I've talked to here from Evolution Baseball in between semifinal and championship game, but more notably, at least for me, is a former Silver Bullet, Rocky McCann-Henley. Rocky, thanks for joining me today.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
So, like I said, when Alex said, hey, Rocky helps me coach, and she played on the Silver Bullets, I was like, did she play in 1994? And she said, yeah, she did. And I'm like, I coached against them. I definitely want to talk to her. So I've been able to connect with two of your other teammates from that team, Missy Coombs and Rachelle Deloso. And, I love connecting with you guys because you were honestly such an inspiration for a 25-year-old male at the time, and it was really cool. I told you the story of one of my old players who is now a guidance counselor and has the bat that he used in that game in the corner of his office. So you guys have no idea. You thought you might have just been inspiring young women, but you were inspiring all of us. So that's very cool, and I thank you for that. So, here we are almost 30 years later. And did you ever think in 1994 what you were doing then was paving the way for what's happening here this week?
No, I really didn't. I was thinking that, I was just involved in playing and wanting to play and not too much more than that. Although it's different now because I've always seen girls throughout my life in the job that I do, and they're always the joy and the love that they play baseball. And so, especially with the Giants, the San Francisco Giants being successful in 2010, 2012, and 2014, I noticed that more and more girls were coming out to the park and playing catch with their moms, their dads. And I was thinking to myself, I've got to do something about this locally. And so I started just putting out my number and sharing with them what kinds of things that we do for the girls in the area, and would they be interested in coming and participating. So who knew that was going to happen? I did not know, even think it was going to be possible.
Yeah, that's incredible. So your time with the Silver Bullets, you only played in that inaugural 1994 season. How did you find out about the Silver Bullets, and what is it that was like, I'm trying out, I'm going?
Thank you for asking. It was a friend of my father's. I just finished playing college softball at San Francisco State, and a friend of my father's who showed up and saw like a magazine article or an advertisement saying there's going to be a tryout, and at that time there's no social media, so it was just a magazine article. Told my dad about it, and because he knew that I played baseball when I was younger, and I got to play maybe 2 or 3 years in our little league, and so there was a tryout in Sacramento, and I had a cousin that lived in Sacramento, and I phoned him and I said, can I spend the night? So I went up there, drove up there all by myself. I was 23 years old at the time, and I tried out, and it was a 2-day tryout that you had to be invited back the second day, and it was amazing. I knew a handful of gals that I recognized that I played against in college. Tony Heisler, I think she played for Sac State or just had finished playing at Sac State, and then a lot of ball players that I recognized when we play summer ball, because when I played a lot of level A and a couple of times the major softball, so I recognized a lot of these gals. So it was so neat to just play catch again. And so I went to Sacramento. It was the quickest, easiest tryout. I thought it was going to be a long day, and Tommy Jones ended up hitting ground balls. You got like you got like 10 ground balls at shortstop, and you had to throw them across the diamond. And you got, he split up between the outfielders would go somewhere, the infielders would go somewhere. You hit 10 balls off of the team, and then they watched you warm up before all that. And then from that, they invited you back the next day, just from that short period of warm-up. There might have been maybe 50, 60 girls out there, or young ladies, and then so they invited me back the next day, and there wasn't much more than that either. Is you got to take another 10 or 15 ground balls, they watch you warm up, take 10 or 15 ground balls at shortstop, hit live pitching. So Tommy Jones was pitching BP, and I had a strike one, strike two, and he just, I totally swung and missed. I didn't know, I couldn't catch the speed of the baseball. And then the third pitch, I started ripping him down the left field line. Pow, pow,
You got your timing.
and it just felt so good. I was just like, yeah. And then I left there, and like a week later, they sent me this beautiful letter in the mail stating, we would like to welcome you or invite you to go to spring training in Kissimmee, Florida. And I was jumping for joy, and my parents would put a big sign on their window outside the front house. Rachelle is invited to go to spring training, and just, it was a lot of excitement for my hometown and me in South San Francisco.
Yeah, that is so cool. And then when you got to spring training, was that the first time you met Phil and Joe?
Yes, yes.
So what was that like?
Seeing them on television and knowing about them, and then seeing them in real life, it was just awe-inspiring. I know they were like larger than life in my life as a, just enjoying baseball as much as I did when I was a kid. And they were so humble and so just genuine. And especially Phil would, he never had to really raise his voice at us, and he would stay even-keeled, and every once in a while he'd get a little frustrated with us, I think, maybe drop an F-bomb, but it was very little. And because we all wanted to do so well, and we wanted him to be proud of us, so I think that was maybe a small difference between coaching men and coaching women. Coaching men might have said, okay, I'll jump, but we were asking, well, how high? What do you want us to do? We were all ears. We wanted to learn so much from this man. And then Joe, he was hilarious. He's just a big, fun-loving teddy bear. Yeah, it was good stuff. Phil Niekro, I still remember him pitching BP to us, and he'd float that knuckleball in, and it was float, 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 float. And then he'd say, Rocky, I'm going to throw you a fastball, and that fastball looked like it was 110 miles an hour.
I can imagine.
It was just, whew. Yeah, it was pretty special time.
Yeah, and man, you guys traveled. How grueling was that? I mean, you think of these teams, you're listening to major league broadcasters talking about, these guys just came off of a 10-game road trip, that they're probably dragging. You guys had a 70-game road trip or whatever it was, right? I mean, how tough was that, just day in and day out?
I found appreciation. I see why, I think a lot of people in the community and public don't really think, they think, my God, why did they get paid so much? But after something like that, and the gruel and the just, it's long days in the sun. You don't have a home field. You just keep on going all the time. You're eating hotel food. You miss mom and dad's spinach and chicken. It's it's a long grind, and I can understand why ball players make a lot of money, because they're away from their families. It's hard on the body. It's hard, and it reduces your life. If you keep on doing this 10, 12, 15 years, I see why they get paid millions of dollars. Although it's fun, don't get me wrong, and it is like a kid's game, but it's different when you're going through it. It's like, so I appreciate the money that they make, because I think they deserve it.
Yeah, I'm driving around in an RV, but I'm not having to get out every day and play 9 innings. So it's a completely different concept. So let's, I could talk to you forever about the Silver Bullets again, just because there's a connection there, but let's fast forward to today. Here you are, you're out coaching these girls. You guys have been involved in this tournament since day one, correct?
Yes.
So, kind of wrap a couple questions up together. So, the very first tournament, what made you want to get a team together and get here? And then now, to see how this thing has evolved to this, what's that been like?
Sure. In 2015, it was pretty interesting. I worked for the San Francisco Recreation and Park Department, and I brought it to our general manager, this idea of bringing a group of girls from San Francisco to the very first baseball national for girls. And Monet Davis had just finished playing in the Little League World Series, so it was fresh in people's minds. And when I brought that idea, he's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, we need to do this. And I keep on coming back, and to see Sunday, so that started out, there was 12, 14 teams in a couple of age divisions, but to see how many girls from maybe 60 girls now to over 300, it is amazing. Justine has done an amazing job and
sure has.
Putting this on. I like to see in Ripken, I have respect for Ripken now to actually host something like this for the girls, because in the past it has not been fair. A lot of facilities don't have the facility for girls baseball, and sometimes we have lack of coaching, and it makes me feel good that I'm representing a group of people that I feel confident in, that I can bring to a location where they have confidence in me, that I have trust with their daughter, and I know we're going to have a good job. I'm going to keep their daughter safe. But getting back to, I think it's important to have fair play for the girls, to have the same ability, to have the good coaching, the right facilities, and the opportunity to participate in these week-long things like Ripken has done for us here.
Yeah, it really is a beautiful facility. And again, to understand how this event has grown, we have 42 teams here this weekend. I mean, that's just incredible. I mean, this is my first time, and with the complex we used to run back in Reading, I could never get away to get out to Rockford or anything like that. So I feel so blessed that we've been able to get here, this week and spend the time we have. And be able to, talk to you guys and get your stories. I mean, every one of you guys I've talked to has been so inspirational. It's so cool. And I watched your last game in the semifinals, and Alex and I talked a little bit about this. You guys got a little hairy there, and I thought I might have brought you bad luck, because I walked down the hill, it was 6-3, and all of a sudden it's 6-6. I'm like, I might have to go leave.
That's youth baseball for you.
And
that's why
your girls responded. I mean, they responded well. I mean, and again, I'm watching a baseball game different than a lot of other people. So I'm watching you, and I'm watching Alex. I'm watching how you guys are interacting, and you guys never lost your composure. I know you were frustrated. You have to be, right? But you never let the girls see that. Why is that so important? Just that making sure they're still feeling positive after a bad inning like that.
I think that's part of baseball and part of coaching. I've coached all my life since I was 18 years old, and I think it's so important to. And the biggest thing is I've learned through other people, and I've learned through watching other coaches stomp their feet, put on tantrums, yell at children, and that just doesn't work for athletes. Most athletes.
Body language is important.
Body language, absolutely. And you got to trust them. And I trust these girls. It's important for them to know that a sign of a good team is to not give up, and stay even, and let's get them back the next time. And I have all the confidence that the girls are going to come back, and if they didn't, you know what? Life still goes on tomorrow, and it's all a teaching moment, and it's a teaching tool that in our program for evolution, day one we talked about follow through. Sometimes when you get 2 outs and you want to get that third out, sometimes that third out's the most difficult one to get. Let's follow through this week, and make sure that we get all 3 outs every single inning. And then the next day we talk about execution. And so every day we come up with a different theme about how we can do better. And then I have the children or the players talk about slight examples of how have you executed in the past besides baseball.
Right.
So I think Coach Alex and I really tried to put in teaching things, life skills, just compared to baseball, besides baseball.
And isn't that what this is all about?
It is, life skills.
It doesn't matter, male, female. At some point, the game of baseball is going to pass us by.
Yes.
It does not stop for us. It doesn't say you can no longer throw a baseball as hard as you could. We're going to slow it down for you. It keeps moving.
Yes.
So at some point, real world life takes over. So the fact that you and Alex focus so much on teaching those life lessons is very cool. Where did you learn that it was more than about winning or losing that game? It's what these girls are going to take and reflect on 10, 15, 20 years from now and say, wow, I remember Coach Alex and Coach Rocky taught me this.
It's interesting that you asked me that. I learned a lot from my parents, but mostly on the baseball field, a man named John Oldham. He was a college coach for 30-odd years at Santa Clara University, and I watched him coach our little ladies league professional league, which Coach Alex and I played on together in the San Jose Spitfires, and just watching him acknowledge and not have to ever raise his voice, but it was all in his body language and temperament, and he was even killed, and he was just a grumpy old man, but he got his point across very great, and I learned from that, and I had many coaches over the years, but he was probably the biggest influence in my coaching career. And just I took what I wanted to take, and then I left what I didn't want to. Because when you coach youth baseball, you gotta pretend like you've been there before.
Yep.
And unfortunately, I don't. The fathers of some boys throw tantrums, make huge gestures to the umpires. You gotta be kidding me. You pretend like you've been there before.
Yep.
Pretend like you're a professional. Because you're just showing your kids the wrong way to do things. If you're going to get upset, why yell and scream? What's going to change? It's going to make the umpire not even want to go and talk to you about the call later on if you needed to talk to the umpire about another call. It's something that I think just shows the players how to live their life. Even. Yeah. I think you've asked about John Oldham.
That's awesome. I mean, look, there's someone who's affected all of us, right?
Yes.
You know? So it's I like to find out from people where that came from a lot of times. And, there's a lot of times the answer is the parents.
Yes.
But then there's always that one other person that's had that huge influence. So, this has been great. We're just about out of time. But any other thing you want to add to the conversation before we get to my final question?
Well, Silver Bullets was a long time ago. I really wish that there would be more leagues for girls to play baseball. And something like this, what Justine's done for Baseball for All, has just been beautiful. And I hope it just keeps on continuing and gets bigger and bigger. Maybe we can have 3 or 4 of these throughout the tournament season.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That would be really special.
That would be awesome. So that brings us to my final question.
Sure.
So, like I told you, the subtitle to the podcast is Many Little People in Many Little Places, and it comes from a song. And the opening lyrics go, when many little people in many little places do many little things and the whole world changes. So what's one of those little things that Rocky's doing every day to make the world a little bit better place?
Well, I hope I'm making it a better place. I'm actually the girls' sports coordinator for the city and county of San Francisco in the recreation department. So I am making the world a better place by providing opportunities for girls in low-income and of color neighborhoods to give them opportunities to play baseball, to play softball, to get out and maybe try something different, or I'm giving them opportunities to play basketball, volleyball, a fitness class, ages from 5 to 18 years old that they may never even want to try or didn't have the opportunity to try. So I give those opportunities for those young ladies.
That's awesome. That's awesome. You're definitely making the world a better place. There's no doubt about it. And again, seeing the way you guys handled your team down there, it was fun to watch, and I'm definitely going to be rooting for you in the championship game without a doubt.
I appreciate it.
So, folks out there listening, again, check out my other podcasts and blogs at danclouser.com. Rocky, thank you again so much for taking the time out and, again, taking me down a little trip in memory lane to 1994 when we played against you guys. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you.